When I was a little girl, I had this big, impossible dream. I wanted to stand on a stage, a microphone in my hand, and share my thoughts, my voice, my humor with the world. Sometimes I imagined singing and making people laugh until they cried. Sometimes I pictured myself giving a speech that would change someone's life. But one thing stayed the same. I wanted people to listen. Of course, childhood dreams have a tendency to clash with reality. By the time I was 22, the stage I had was tiny and sticky, the counter of a small coffee shop in my hometown. The microphone was the squeaky intercom we used to yell orders to the kitchen, and my audience was mostly sleepy customers who didn't care about my dream. Only whether their latte had enough foam. Some mornings, I hated my job. I hated wiping counters for hours while my toes froze in cheap sneakers. I hated the smell of burnt coffee that lingered like a stubborn ghost in the air. And yet I didn't give up. I carried a notebook everywhere, scribbling small steps toward my dream. Take a public speaking class. Record yourself singing. Apply for the local open mic. And every night, after cleaning tables and washing dishes, I practiced. I practiced in the empty coffee shop after hours, singing to the walls as if they were my audience, imagining applause after each note. But let me be honest, it wasn't glamorous. Not even a little. I failed so many times. Once, I froze in the middle of a song at an open mic. My voice just disappeared. People stared. Awkward silence. I smiled, mumbled something about experimental performance art, and walked off stage. Another time, I uploaded a video online of me singing. 3 views. One of them was my mum. I cried, but then I laughed. At myself, at life, at the absurdity of it all. People didn't always believe in me. Some laughed when I said I wanted to perform. That's cute, honey, but dreams don't pay bills, one neighbor told me while I was juggling coffee orders and late shifts. Some days, I believed them. Some days, I almost quit. But there was always a little voice inside me, stubborn, tiny, annoying, whispering, keep going. Just one more step. So I did. I took public speaking classes, singing lessons, voice workshops. I signed up for every local event that would let me speak, sing, or perform in front of strangers. I saved money from tips to buy microphones and cameras. I practiced until my throat hurt, until my fingers ached from scribbling lyrics in my notebook. And slowly, something magical started to happen. The first tiny breakthrough was unforgettable. It wasn't a grand stage or thousands of people. It was a small local event. Maybe 20 people in the audience. My voice shook, my hands trembled, and I spilled my water halfway through my introduction. But when I finished, people clapped. Not polite, "We feel sorry for you" claps. Real claps. People smiled. Some even laughed at the funny parts I was nervous about. That night, I drove home with tears in my eyes, realizing something. I can do this. From there, life began to slowly shift. Small gigs turned into larger ones. Social media videos that once had 3 views now had hundreds. People started to recognize me at local coffee shops, not for serving lattes, but for my voice, my presence, my story. I traveled for shows, performed in rooms I had only imagined as a kid. And every time I stepped on stage, I thought back to the girl in the coffee shop, scribbling dreams in a tiny notebook while cleaning up spilled milk. There were still challenges. Rejection emails came like rain. Some gigs failed spectacularly. I stumbled on stage more times than I could count. Sometimes I'd look at other performers and think, "You'll never be that good." But every time, I reminded myself, the only way to fail is to stop trying. And slowly, I began to understand something profound. Dreams aren't magical destinations you suddenly arrive at. Dreams are the journey. They are the messy practice sessions, the spilled coffee, the forgotten lyrics, the nervous trembling before a performance. The quiet moments of doubt that somehow turn into courage. One night, during a performance that wasn't perfect, I missed a line, my voice cracked, and someone sneezed loudly in the front row. I looked out at the audience. And for the first time, I felt pure joy. Not because I was famous or successful, but because I had kept my promise to myself. I had not given up. Every tiny step, every little failure, had brought me to that moment. And it was perfect. Now, years later, I don't serve coffee anymore. I have my own stage, my microphone, my small but loyal audience. I tell stories, sing songs, make people laugh, and sometimes, I even make them cry a little, in a good way. And every single time I walk out there, I remember the girl who scribbled dreams in a notebook, standing behind a sticky counter. Dreaming big while the smell of coffee lingered in the air. If you're reading this and you have a dream, maybe it feels silly, impossible, or too big, I want you to remember this: you can do it. You don't need a big break, perfect circumstances, or instant recognition. You need small steps, persistence, and a little stubbornness. Start today. Take one small action. Write one line, sing one note, make one call, step one foot forward. Fail if you have to. Laugh at yourself if you want. Keep going anyway. Because one day, you'll look back and realize that all those messy, awkward, painful, hilarious little steps have carried you straight into the life you dreamed of. And when that day comes, you'll understand the truth. Dreams aren't just something you chase. They're something you catch, step by step, heart by heart, laugh by laugh.